Working on some hardware today. A few things to go over. All right. In the plans it describes these as the main spar attach and the main strut attach. And I was looking at that going, oh, where the hell did those go? So that's wrong. They're both main struts. One is for the right side, one is for the left side. That's what I'm assuming there, because there isn't anything that long that goes onto the main, well, attaches from the main spar, but it holds the main strut attach. So there's 4 of those, 2 of each, one for the right wing, one for the left wing. The rear strut attaches, I've got those cut up. The main spar attach, I've got those cut up. The rear spar attach, I've got those cut up. The aileron horns, I've got those cut up. The aileron hinges, I've got up. I did the first ones. Remember, I put in bearings in mine. Got the second ones came out a lot nicer. Was able to make that a nice round corner for some reason, so they turned out nicer. I still have to paint them. Got the bearings pressed in. The aileron torque tube supports, pivot supports, I've got cut. I still need to get an 1 1/8 saw, hole saw, drill, whatever. I'm going to go a little bigger because if you remember, I've got the pilot hole drilled there. I'm putting in bearings. And the bearings will fit right on my 1-inch torque tube. Where am I there? They will mount in there, and then I am going to get a piece of plastic on each side so that it is held into there so it doesn't move. So I'll get a piece of plastic built on the 3D printer that just holds that in place so that the torque tube will actually just spin freely on that instead of being really just a friction joint otherwise that goes on there. And the torque tube spins just on a piece of plastic. I didn't like that. I want to go with as free moving as possible. So I am going to be putting that bearing in there. Now some things on this. Here it says 1.5 by 2 and 2 3/4. Definitely 2 3/4, and it is 2 inches there. But this says 1.5. It's only 1 inch. It comes in 1.5 segments. In the plans, it has both 1 by 2 inch and 1.5 by 2 inch. So I'm assuming it's supposed to start at 2 inches and you cut off that 1/2 inch off of there to make it 1.5 inches. It's not very well documented. And I don't know if it actually needs to be, well, you're just taking some off. So if you wanted to put that whole one on, you could just leave it like that. It doesn't need to be any shorter, I don't think. I put it into the wing and it seems to fit in there all right. So I'm just going to see how it does fit in there before I go cutting off another 1/2 inch there. I haven't built this yet because I don't even know what it is. Flap support. There's one on each side, 1/8 inch aluminum. It says 2 all required, so 1 on each side, and I don't know where that is. I was looking on the plans, and for the life of me, I can't find out where that is. So maybe it's on the fuselage side of the flap. I don't know, but I haven't made those up yet. On this side, I have I've made up my flap arm. I've made one of those up. It's already on the flap. I'll make another one for the other flap. And what I did, those are obviously made out of flat stock. That's made out of channel. This is made out of channel for the, whatever, the arm for the aileron. And when I made this, I cut this out of the channel. I just used these arms as that pivot there for the flap. So I had that made up before I got my flat stock, and I just used it out of when I cut off one of these sides of the channel. It's actually exactly that size. So that's what I used for that. That is already on the flap. I'll have to make up one more of those. I have to make up another one of those anyways. So cutting this stuff, I tried cutting it with a plasma cutter and it worked, but it's messy. So I went to the old table saw and I put on an old blade that I had just kicking around that's not worth a crap anymore, so it's not hurting anything. And even if it was, you know, what's a blade? A cheap blade's $20 or something like that. When you're cutting the aluminum, and that was a 3/16 stuff, so fair thick. When you're cutting it on there, wear ear protection, wear eye protection, wear helmet protection. I would wear a welding helmet and a welding vest. If you look here, I can't see if you can see it, but there are shards of metal come flying off of that at extremely high speeds and in all kinds of different directions. Even when I'm off to the side over here pushing it through, I have metal embedded in my body flying off of that. Cuts it like a darn. Does a really nice job of cutting it. And it goes through there like a knife through butter. But man, it throws off some stuff, so just protect yourself when you're doing that. Then for the little cuts, I just took it to the bandsaw and did the little cuts on there. And it went right through there, no problem. I got a new blade on there. Again, a new blade for that I think was $14, so I'm not too worried about that. It's just a wood blade. One other thing that's been a lot of help to me, Elgie's got one, I'm assuming he's an engineer, and Tim's just got his mine because he's a machinist. Just a little caliper set, and mine goes in millimeters, in thousandths, and in fractions. So when you're reading on the plan somewhere it's 3/16, and I'm thinking, what the hell is 3/16 in a fraction? Your little calipers will actually do that conversion automatically for you. It makes life a lot easier. I've been using that a lot lately, especially with all the different metals. Trying to get, you know, a channel that's 1/8 wall, or a tube that's whatever it is, 3/16 wall or something like that. So that is a real helpful little tool. All right, that's it for today. Just continuing on with some of this messy work, getting some of the hardware stuff done. This is the hardware sheet here, and I've actually got a pretty good dent in this already. I don't have to do much more until I get to the fuselage and start doing up some of the stuff on the fuselage. So, did a good dent in that. It's kind of crappy work. Cutting all that out of the, with the saw and stuff like that. It takes time, it's messy, and it's a pain in the butt, but it'll be good to get a lot of that done, and then you can move on, get the wings completed and hanged up on the wall, and we're good to go. All right, just to give you a look at what's going on. This is the DHC-21. That's the one that I built before. And there's the plans for it. I just take a piece of channel. I've got it cut to length already. Then I cut the sides off it. They were just in there like that. So I cut the sides off it. And now I just need to cut the hole in there around the corners so it's nice and pretty. And that is your, what do you call it, elevator horn? Not elevator, that would be the aileron horn, I guess. And then that is a piece of 1/8 that I use to, that one's a little bit short. Maybe I could have used it longer before. But anyways, those can be used for other things. Piece of 1/8 flat stock now. All right, DHS 8B and 8A. For those that are building, it's not marked rear, but these ones are the rear, and these ones are the front of the wing, and these are at the rear of the wing. I was looking at those and I'm going, well, which one's which, blah, blah, blah. That's the front of the wing, that's the rear of the wing. They also use this. So it says requires one right and one left. But if you're using, I'm assuming this is for flaps when the wings fold, it's also got a DHS 8A wing hold back bracket. For any of those people that do know, is that where, when the wing folds, is that what you're using to hold it somewhere near the tail? I haven't actually seen how the wings fold on these things, but I'm assuming that's what that is. So you would need 2 extra brackets of the DHS 8A if you're going to have the folding wings and use those. So instead of 2, you would make 4 DHS 8A, and I'm just out of a little piece of angle, and really pretty simple to do. You got to get those holes drilled in there. I'm going to wait to see exactly how that fits onto the wing before I decide where to drill the holes, because I just don't trust the plans that much. Did I show you that one already? Got another one did up there. Those are pretty easy to do. I did show you that. I already had my flap one done up for the other one. It was up on the drying rack for when I painted it. So yeah, we're coming along. All right, I've got the 8As and the 8Bs done up. I'll wait to drill the holes. One question. I mentioned there's front and back for each wing, front and back for each wing. Need 2 more of these for doing the wing hold back bracket. Now, if you don't plan on folding your wings, do you need those? And what exactly are they? And when it's got a Dakota Hawk, let me know to see if I even want to put those on there, because if it's something sticking out of the wing, out of the fabric, it's just going to cause more drag. And if it never gets used, what's the point in having it? All right, thank you. My audio didn't work, so I'll just fill you in on what I did this weekend. Went down to a wedding in Twin Butte, Alberta. On the way down there, I took the motorbike and then zipped into Waterton National Park. My buddies own a ranch just north of Waterton, so I took the back roads home. This is the area that I'm flying in, and I'm landing on these fields and these back roads. So that's what I'll be flying in, this area, and that's where I'm at.